There are 5 things that narcissistic people will deliberately withhold, not only to torment you, but also because the withholding of these things props up their false sense of superiority, serves their sick need to feel and be seen as better than, and gives them the upper hand, in their mind anyway. And that is what I'm covering today. Let's do it. Hey friends, Tamie M, Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom Class and the Ascension Class. And if you're new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. This is where we discuss all things related to personal empowerment and emotional intelligence through energetic alignment. That's right, specifically for empaths, scapegoats, and awakening light leaders. So let's talk about 5 things narcissistic people deliberately withhold, not only to torment you, but also for the express purpose of propping up their false sense of superiority while also maintaining the upper hand. Now, remember, when dealing with people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, the name of the game is always going to be to manipulate, dominate, and control you, whether that be passively or aggressively. And their withholding behavior is no exception. Furthermore, they purposely withhold for no other reason than to hurt you, deliberately. But don't kid yourself. There's more to it than just that. In my view and experience, it's also often very much driven by their own feelings of inadequacy, fear, envy, and jealousy. That's right. More often than not, they are far too judgmental, critical, jealous, and insecure to be able to show up in the relationship, any relationship, friendship or otherwise, with anything genuine to offer you by way of praise, validation, approval, or acknowledgement even. So they withhold deliberately. Devaluing and invalidating you, even through passive or outright withholding behavior, serves their sick need to feel and be seen as better than. Because in reality, they go through life grappling with serious feelings of inferiority, feelings that they work really, really hard to hide from the outside world. So for that reason, the narcissist will make a point of withholding something, anything that they know you want, or at the very least would really like, whether that be a compliment, approval, well-deserved praise, or even validation. They withhold these things as a form of control, for sure. But as I said, there's more to it. So let's unpack this. Starting with number 1, compliments and praise. Narcissists will withhold compliments and praise, including normal, healthy, and appropriate interest in you and what you've got going on in your life. They withhold compliments and, as I said, well-deserved praise and validation or any kind of approval, even when it's absolutely warranted. Now, this is actually one of the most glaring red flag indicators that you're dealing with a person with a destructive narcissist personality pattern. In other words, a toxic predator. No matter how well they may present, their inability to clap for you when you've clearly earned it or deserve it is a red flag. Their inability to share in your success or your joy for that matter is more often than not due to their pathological envy, as well as their need to maintain control and the illusion of superiority. Healthy relationships naturally include the expression of happiness and excitement for the other person's accomplishments or good fortune. And this ability to clap and cheer for the other naturally enhances the quality of the relationship. Narcissists, however, do not like giving praise to others, even when it is well-deserved and completely warranted. In fact, especially when it's warranted. Unless, of course, it serves them somehow. Like, for example, they may engage in excessively praising you at the onset of the relationship when they're love bombing you. But once they feel they've got you where they want you, they'll begin withholding interest in you, and like I said, what you've got going on, and your achievements. It's how they keep you down there and themselves up here, again, in their own mind. And they do this by refusing to recognize events, accomplishments, or milestones that are worthy of celebration, as well as failing to acknowledge the things that make you happy. Meanwhile, they will, quite sadistically, I might add, deliberately give praise to someone else in front of you for no other reason than to hurt your feelings and further demean you. And make no mistake, this is narcissistic triangulation meant to, at the very least, unsettle and destabilize you in the hopes of making you feel undeserving and less than. In other words, this withholding tactic is intended to hurt you deliberately. And in the context of an emotionally abusive relationship, withholding healthy praise, validation, and interest is a deliberate strategy used to cause the target to feel needy, obsessed, or desperate even, as the person being emotionally and psychologically abused scrambles to try to understand what the heck has changed since the initial love bombing stage. Narcissists will even go so far as accusing you of fishing for compliments or using attention-seeking behavior when you question their strange and utterly hurtful withholding behavior. In fact, these are exactly the words they will use to paint you as crazy and irrational or not okay somehow, for having the normal human desire to be seen, heard, understood, validated, loved, supported, and encouraged by those closest to you. Imagine? So, don't mistake it for something it's not. Just because it's passive and subtle, it's abuse, friends, straight up. Number 2 on the list of things narcissists deliberately withhold to torment you is affection and attention. That's right. Unlike normal, healthy partners who may have the occasional need for space or may not want affection during, naturally occurring times of conflict or distress, narcissists withhold affection randomly and deliberately without reason, cause, or provocation. In fact, you may have even encountered a narcissist who began withholding affection right after being excessively attentive and warm. These hot and cold behaviors, also known as intermittent reinforcement, are used deliberately to train you into gradually accepting the unacceptable cruelty they inevitably dish out during the devaluation periods. Nice people. Number 3, encouragement and support. Narcissists will deliberately and with malevolent intent withhold encouragement and emotional support, any kind of support. Again, not only to torment you, but to position themselves as superior and you inferior and keep you there. And of course, what tends to go along with all of this withholding behavior is gaslighting, especially if you dare call them out. You'll want to be prepared to hear things like, "It's not all about you, you know. You're so needy and demanding." I once called out someone who claimed to love me, and maybe she did it her own way. I called her out for a glaringly deliberate withholding, obvious example of a simple acknowledgement of a major milestone in my life. And what I got back was, "Obviously, I can't give you what you need." By someone who claimed to love me, no less. Again, nice people. You know what, boo? You're absolutely right. Truer words were never spoken. Because what I need in my friendships, and any relationship for that matter, is healthy, sane, genuine, kind, decent, loving, and consistent. Not deliberately withholding, not incredibly judgmental and critical, obviously highly triggered, jealous and envious, threatened, to say the least, rigid, controlling, and uber defensive, and I can certainly live without the gaslighting. Thank you very much. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you've ever had an experience like this. Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. There's also a brand new free gift section in the description below this video, so be sure to avail yourself of that as well. Sign number 4 of things narcissists will deliberately withhold to torment you and position themselves as superior is communication. Like, for example, not replying to texts, emails, or phone messages in a reasonable period of time. Withholding communication also includes, by the way, withholding the truth. That's right. Narcissists will withhold the truth, especially if they believe it helps them maintain a sense of power or, again, that false sense of superiority. Remember, it's all about power, domination, and control when you're dealing with a narcissist. They will lie by omission, leaving out important details and great big huge chunks of the story, in particular, the stuff that wouldn't cast them in a very favorable light. Anything to make them look like the victim, the hero, the good guy or good girl, and of course you, the villain. And last but not least, number 5, narcissists will deliberately withhold money and other important resources. Now, in my view and experience, financial sovereignty and independence is vital, always. But when dealing with people who land on the spectrum of destructive narcissism, there are no words to describe how vitally important this one is. Narcissists will hold you hostage given the chance. So you never, ever want to give them that kind of power over you. Never, ever allow yourself to become financially dependent on someone who does not have your best interest at heart. Someone who feels entitled to hurt you and blame you for the hurt they cause. Friends, if you hear nothing else, hear this. Never, ever, ever borrow money, lean on, depend on, go to for help, or in any way become dependent upon someone with a destructive narcissist personality pattern. You will live to regret it, I assure you. Here's what's true. An often overlooked and underestimated part of personal empowerment is financial empowerment. Nobody wants to talk about it. And when you give that power over to a destructive narcissist, again, they will hold you hostage and enjoy watching you suffer in the process. Financial abuse, isolating you from friends and family, sabotaging your relationship with others, or otherwise attempting to orchestrate a smear campaign are various ways that narcissists withhold resources from you. Whether those resources are monetary, social, or emotional, malignant narcissists know that in order to create a sense of dependency in their target, they must isolate the target from outside influence and support. Support and influence, which would otherwise enable the target to exit and move on from the abuse cycle with more ease and confidence and certainty. Isolating you from your support network allows the narcissist to become the dominant voice in your life, which can alter your reality and the perception you have of yourself as they gaslight, belittle, and slowly but surely dismantle your sense of self. So, smear campaigns in which they try to slander you and taint your reputation, whether that be at work, within the family, or shared social circles, allow the narcissist to feed others misinformation about you so that you look like the abuser while they play the victim. Taking complete control over your shared finances gives them the means to keep you trapped and unable to leave the relationship no matter how cruel they become. Please know, if someone in your life, not least someone who claims to be an important person in your life, is using any of these withholding tactics, the problem isn't you, it's them. And you deserve better. You can break free, and it's time now. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, you should know the Ascension Class is open for enrollment. Now, this is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself, you're ready to shift your identity, master the law of attraction, heal your relationship with money, and put a full stop end to the limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that are holding you back and preventing you from living your best life. If you're ready to reinvent yourself from the inside out, create your dream life by design, and finally become the you were always meant to be, click on the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.